Hey class, welcome to week 3 of BUAD 301. I want to welcome you guys all to your first online class week, which you could see up here in titanium. It will say week 3 online class. If you have any questions, you can always email me or text message me, or you can even call me if you'd like. All my contact information is at the top of titanium, listed right here. I have my email address listed here, and then I also have my mobile phone number where you can shoot me a text message or even give me a call if you would like. So let's go ahead and go down to week 3 and discuss what we're going to be doing today for your 301 class. Actually, before we dive into it, let's take a look at our syllabus so we can talk about a few things before we go into this week. So for week 3, keep in mind you're going to have your memo city selection due at the end of the week on September 17th. Also, if you are on the Wednesday BUAD 301 class, then your due date will be September 18th. So if you are in the Wednesday class, please keep in mind that your due dates are going to be different. Just make sure to check your syllabus in regards to what the due date is. In addition, we're going to review the Research City project and we're going to go over a couple different items for this week. And also keep in mind next week during week 4, it is also another online week. So make sure you are prepared for the online week. And then on September 25th, we will meet in class live for your first case analysis writing assignment. So let's go ahead and go to week 3. So now that you have familiarized yourself with communicating strategy and writing, you should begin familiarizing yourself with the next step, which is communication ethics. And this is what chapter 3 talks about in your Uruk textbook. You will also need to read the Chick-fil-A case to prepare for the first case analysis exam during week 5. So please make sure you know your Chick-fil-A case inside and out. You still have a couple weeks until we do take the exam, but make sure you are prepared with it, having read it in class. And remember, you can use it during your case analysis. As long as it's the online format, you can access your online casebook at your computer in class when you take the case analysis number 1 exam. Remember, when reading the case, look for the different things that we talked about over the last few weeks in class. Make sure you look for the underlying issue. Start thinking of concepts and solutions you can provide for the case. Finally, we're also going to go over your Research City project, and you will pick the city you would like to use for your research report. So tasks to complete this week. Make sure to read chapter 3 in your Uruk textbook. Read the Business Writer's Handbook sections for business plans and presentations. Also, read and familiarize yourself with the Chick-fil-A case in your casebook. If you have yet to purchase the casebook, please read the directions on how to purchase it, located under week 1, which is right here. To purchase the casebook, just click on this link and follow these directions here. So we will go to our next point. Watch the weekly class video lecture below, which is right here, and we're actually recording it right now. And make sure to watch the ethics and communication video in the PowerPoint below. So if you click on ethics and communication, it's going to take a little while to download. It is a big file. Make sure to go through the PowerPoint, hover over the sound icon like we did in the first 2 weeks of class when we met live, and make sure to go through this PowerPoint. And once this opens up, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. In addition, review the BUAD 301 Research City Project Word document, which is right here, and we will be going over that in detail right now. And also complete the memo, which is worth 10 points for your city selection, which is right here as well. So we will be going over your Research City project and your memo assignment. And your memo assignment is part of the Research City project that you're going to need to complete. So let's go back to the syllabus, and you can see here your Research City project is going to include a memo, peer edits, a brochure, and then also your individual APA research report. So again, make sure you give yourself enough time during the week to go over everything. You want to make sure that you take notes as you go if needed. And remember, all this information here for the files and attachments for this week and for every week, they're going to stay up throughout the entire term. I will not take them down. So that way, if you want to access something, you can. All right, so remember, for this ethics and communication PowerPoint, you're going to want to hover over this little sound icon right here. And then once you hover over it, you could click the play button.
This lecture will explore ethics and how to communicate.
And then once you're done with that slide, you will go to the next slide and do the exact same thing.
You'll be exploring ethics in many.
So this will really help you tie into what we read in chapter 3 and give you a good idea of ethics and communication and how important it is in advanced business communication. So please make sure to watch that. But before we dive into the Research City project and the memo report, I do want to take a look at this audience analysis PowerPoint. So an audience analysis is always important when you are writing, because you want to know who your audience is. Who is it that you're writing to, especially when you're writing a case analysis? So these are some questions to keep in mind. Who are my audiences? What is my relationship with my audiences? What are their likely attitudes toward my proposal? How much do they already know or think they know? And is my proposal in their interests? So when you're able to understand who exactly your audience is, it's really going to help you identify how you're going to write your actual case analysis. Now, it's always good to have an idea of a generic organization chart, just to give you an idea of who it is that you're speaking with, because a case may refer to, let's say, a president, or maybe a case is referring to an employee, or even middle management. You could kind of get an idea of where they stand within their organization. This helps you better know if they're able to make, big decisions, or is it someone who just, kind of goes with the flow and doesn't really make these big decisions. It just gives you an idea of who it is that you're actually speaking to, writing to in the case analysis. So here's a quick breakdown of what they look like, of senior management, middle management, first line supervisors, staff, and employees. Like your senior management, their primary interests are going to be the corporate decisions, the strategic issues, etc. Where staff, their primary interests are more going to be like the technical areas assigned, priorities that you actually set as senior management. So let's look at a communication scenario. Let's say someone applied to receive a grant of, I believe it's $500,000 or $250,000. So the way you would write it for good news, if you want to put it in a good news frame mindset, you would say, hey, you're receiving $200,000 in venture capital. So if this person applied for venture capital, let's say they applied for $250,000, the positive way of writing it is you're receiving $200,000 in venture capital. Or you write it in the bad news mindset, and you would write it in you're not receiving the full amount requested. So you could see the way you frame a message is really going to depict how the receiver takes the information. So always keep that in mind. Here's a sample positive, negative message. So let's look at a positive opening of that example. You are being considered for $200,000 in venture capital. And then you explain. XYZ company has limited assets available now, the economy is tight, and others are also seeking our support. So now it kind of gives you an idea of, you got this positive opening, you're only receiving 200 of the 250,000 you signed up to get, but the explanation gives you an idea why. And here's a way on how you would write it in a negative way. You are not receiving the full $250,000 you requested, and then you would end up in a positive closing. Entering into this venture will be to our mutual benefit. The project is promising. So they're letting you know, you're not receiving the full $250 you requested, but this is going to be promising moving forward. And you can always combine them as well too. So is information so positive that if it's placed first, it will make transition to negative information extremely awkward? If so, move the positive to end. So if you're writing something with a negative connotation that's going to really be taken in a negative way, you want to save that. You want to place that in the beginning and save the positive information at the end. That way, they can finish reading the information and have a positive mindset. If the positive information is only moderately positive, you can always start the message with it. And if positive information is not placed first, will the receiver even read the message? If not, present positive information first. So if you feel that if you start with the negative info and they may not even read the rest of the message, then you want to start with the positive information. And is negative information only slightly negative? If so, start with positive and transition to negative. If negative message is strong, then start with delaying opening and move to explanation and bad news before presenting the positive news. So again, another communication scenario. Good news would be, hey, there are going to be salary increases for salaried employees. There's going to be improved benefits. Bad news is there's a major cost reduction. There's going to be termination of salaried and hourly employees. So what information do you start with first? These are things that you need to consider when you're writing your case analysis. So always understand your audience and who they are. Okay, now what I would like to do is I'd like to go over your Research City project. This is for Tuesday classes. My Wednesday 301 class will have it say Wednesday classes. So let's go ahead and click on it. And once it opens up, you can see the different items you're going to have to complete. So let's go ahead and go through our Research City project. The purpose of this is to develop research and problem-solving skills with professional context and learn how to write an extended argument. For the background, you're going to complete a Research City project on a city of your choice. You will look into the demographics of the city along with the needs. For your task, you will complete 4 requirements, which are listed right here. And for your expected student outcomes, you are going to develop research skills and critical thinking skills. And when I look at the grading, the assessment part, you need to make sure everything in this and these are going with the class grading rubric. I expect mechanical excellence, flawless format, and a perfect citation style. So let's look at your different requirements you have. Keep in mind, my Wednesday class for 301, you are going to have different due dates. Yours are going to be extended an extra day since our class meets a day later. So for your memo, let's take a look. This is requirement number 1. So what you're going to do for your memos, you're going to pick a town in one of the following counties. No exceptions. Please don't ask me to choose a town in another county. Either LA, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, or San Diego. This is the town you will use for your research paper. Once it is selected, you may not change the town. You will look at the census data for the town you have chosen and identify their demographics. You'll think of a business you feel would be beneficial for this town. You can choose a large metropolitan city or a smaller suburb. Keep in mind, the larger your town, the more research and time you will spend to discover information. Then in a correctly formatted one-page memo report addressed to myself in third-person point of view, make sure you complete this following. In your memo, you're going to write the reasoning to why you chose this town. Describe your selected town in detail, focusing on demographics such as median age, median income, and social demographics, and identify a particular type of business that you think would appeal to the majority demographic you have identified. Avoid suggesting things like franchises, like Subways or Starbucks, McDonald's. Think about unusual business services that would particularly appeal to the local residents. For example, a skate park might not be the best kind of business where the majority of people are retirees. For example, let's say you're picking a city by the beach, let's say San Clemente, and you want to open up a surfboard delivery shop where people can rent surfboards and they're delivered to the beach, kind of like Uber Eats in a way. And these surfboards are delivered to them in the beach because maybe people don't like bringing their surfboards in their car, or maybe it doesn't fit in their car. But this is a unique business for an area in San Clemente where you have a lot of surfers, where it would make sense to have. It's an unusual business, and it's probably something that could be successful depending on the way you run your business. Again, you should be familiar with the memo format. Please see the memo section in your Business Writer Handbook to refresh your memory, or you can even visit the following website, which Purdue OWL talks about sample memos and what sample memos look like. And you can see here, you have your to, from, date, subject. You have an opening paragraph. Then you have different sections. You have a header with some information, then another header with some information, etc. But what you're going to do for this requirement is you're going to actually critique the email number 1 that you're going to be sending in the next couple weeks. You all are going to have to complete email number 1 assignment, which we'll talk about in a couple weeks. And then you're going to actually critique someone in your group, which I will put you in your groups during next week. And you're going to critique their email. You're going to send it back to them, and you're going to upload it to Titanium. Requirement number 3, this is a brochure you're going to create. You're going to create a visually driven trifold brochure using at least 3 appropriate images for the business you are creating for your selected city. So let's go back to the San Clemente example with the surfboard delivery service. This can be an informative brochure or promotional brochure or even both. A color piece isn't required, but it's highly recommended. You can be as creative as you want with this. You should have a professional looking brochure, and here are some sites that show you how to create a trifold brochure. So I'll show you trifold brochure. Is going to look something like this. So it's just one page, and when you open it, you have information on the inside, you have information on the back. So it's only going to be one page like this. Oh, there's a whole bunch on here. So it's going to look one page like this, and it's going to be one page on the front right here, and then on your back page it's going to be here, and then you fold it up and it becomes a trifold brochure. So it's really only one page printed front and back. And this is going to be due on Monday, 12/18, the day you have your final exam. It should actually say Tuesday. I apologize. Oh no, I was right. It is Monday. Monday, 12/18. Actually, it is Tuesday. Yes, because your final exam, yes, is due on 12/18. The other items are due on Monday, the day before, because you're uploading to Titanium. So let's make sure we have this correct. So your requirement number 1 is going to be due Monday. Requirement number 2 is going to be due on a Monday. Requirement number 3, your brochures, you're going to bring it in class on the day of your final exam. And then your individual APA research report is going to be due 2 days after your final exam. So for my Wednesday class, it's going to be due on Friday. So let's take a look now at the I also provided some additional information for you for the brochure when you create it. Let's take a look at your individual APA research report. Now this is going to be worth 100 points, and it's going to be due on Thursday 12/20 by 11:55 p.m. and you upload to Titanium. You're going to write a report discussing your city, the business you selected for your city, and analyzing the business of your selected city. Remember, this is an APA report. In APA style, you write in third person. You will provide an argument letting the reader know why the business you selected would be a good fit for the city you chose. You are as you are learning in BUAD 301, it's important to make sure you provide solutions with information to back up your reasoning. So this is why a minimum of 8 outside sources are required for your APA report. And only published and credible sites only, no Wikipedia or web pages. Use any sources that seem appropriate, but make sure you go above and beyond the surface. Learn what you can about the town's history. What direction are they going in? Is there a social or political climate that you should account for? What do residents want in their community? After all, there's no point in recommending a skate park for a community populated by retirees. Keep track of your sources. Cite them in the text of your APA report. And list them in your references. Incorrect attribution causes a substantial reduction in your report grade. You must write your report in APA format. Please make sure you complete it in APA format. So it must be in APA format, no memos. You're going to need a title page in APA format. The text of the report should be double-spaced, font 11 or 12 with 1-inch margins, and 6 pages minimum. This does not include the title page or reference page. So when you turn it in, it's going to be at least 8 pages because you have a title page, 6 pages of writing, and then you have your reference page. That's totaling 8 pages minimum. Use titles for each section. Be creative. Maybe you want to talk about the city background information, and that's going to be half a page. Or future of the city. Where do you see the city going? And then plan business for the city. So once you discuss the city and where the city is going, then you implement the planned business for the city. You're building that credibility on why that business would work in the city. You're giving the reader an understanding that, hey, this is the city. This is where it's going. This is the business proposing. This is why it's going to work. This is what we think we need to do for the city to be successful. Remember, it is going to be in third person. Include a reference page with at least 8 citations in standard APA style. You can use surveys and interviews as well if you like. They must be as current as possible. The reference page and title page do not count part as the minimum of 6 pages. Proofread carefully and spell check. Make sure to write in third person, and you must include a SWOT analysis for your business, and include an actual SWOT analysis chart. So for those of you who did not learn what a SWOT analysis is, a SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It helps determine where an organization is going, maybe some threats against their business, some opportunities that they may have. And if you look, there's plenty of information on what a SWOT analysis is, some examples. So make sure if you don't know what one is, you do include one. A SWOT analysis will look something along the lines like this. This is a SWOT analysis. It's like a chart. You can even put lines to separate everything, and you list your strengths of the organization that you're bringing to the city, maybe some weaknesses, some opportunities that you're going to have, and maybe some threats, things you need to consider. So let's take a look at that San Clemente surfboard delivery service. Some strengths here that we have is we have a unique business that no one else has in the city or any other surrounding cities. We're able to provide a service for an issue in a city that many people are struggling with. Maybe some weaknesses, is this something that people are really going to want to pay for? What if people continue to bring their surfboards because it's just easier for them? Or another weakness could be, maybe traffic. There's a lot of traffic in San Clemente, so it's going to take a long time. By the time they call and ask for their surfboard to be delivered to the beach, it may take a while. Then you're going to list some opportunities. In this case, you're going to say that the city of San Clemente has a population of 20,000, 25,000 people, and on an average daily basis, there are approximately 800 surfers per day. So we're looking to implement our business on those 800 surfers. So we have an opportunity to reach 800 people. And then, of course, your threats, anything that you feel may threaten your business, something that may take it down. So this is your Research City project. These are all the items you need to complete. And if you scroll here on your Memo City selection for Research Project, this is where you're going to upload your memo. The exact same directions are listed here as they were in the Microsoft Word document we just went over. So once you are done, please make sure to upload your memo assignment. For my Wednesday class, your due date's going to be Tuesday, September 18th, 11:55 p.m. And then once you're ready, you finish your memo, add it here. So that is our week 3 lecture. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am here to help you guys through our online weeks. Again, all my contact information is up here. And if you're having IT issues where something's not showing up or you can't upload, make sure to call the IT help desk, or you can even email online education and training. I want to wish you guys the best of luck this week. And again, if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to call, text, or email. Thanks, guys. Good luck.